LGD on the red. And the first pick, Ari, makes its debut yet again. No!
I have a lot of thoughts right now. I don't think I can say it, Mazel, but I'm sure we're both thinking the exact same thing. But the difference for this Game 3 is that Photic has decided to match the Aphelios with its scaling ability with this Jinx. So I'm assuming LGD, they're going to lock in the Lulu here to deny that, plus just have this great synergy with the Aphelios on LPC for this Game 3, which he's shown to be extremely good on. But yeah, Haichao and Annie, I mean, it depends on what Meteor's approach is going to be. Yeah?
I give him the benefit of the doubt. The saying goes, third time's the charm. It's not second time's the charm, it's third time's the charm, all right? So, you know, you don't do good on it twice, you go for a third time. Now, if it doesn't work out this time, you never play the champion ever again. Kindred does get locked in for LGD, though. It was something that was banned away by NIP last game in the second phase. But with this combo, it feels like Meteor is set up for a lot of that proactivity, a lot of that aggression, and right back to LGD's double marksman composition to try to go into this very heavy meta composition that NIP have drafted already.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if NIP does deny something like the Nautilus because of how LGD has kind of shown their draft so far. But yeah, I'm very excited for this Kindred going to the hands of Meteor. Their synergy between Haichao and Meteor has to be perfect for this Game 3 if they want this Kindred to shine. But we already saw in the same matchup from Game 1 that Ari was the one coming out on top in terms of lane party. So you have to consider the fact that can Meteor really shine on this champion when Shadow most likely will have the first move to all these invades. But we will have to wait and see, because I think Nautilus is going to be the next most contested champion. For both of these sides, I would honestly prefer a little bit more on LGD's side, because you have the Gravitum and the hook to work off. That does get taken away from NIP and denied. So maybe LGD look for something like the Blitzcrank that can stop Photic from DPSing in these team fights. I would love to see the Blitzcrank come through. But Brom's still up, so probably not. I would like to see it. That's boring. The Thresh is also up. Oh, he picks the Brom blind, surprisingly. Nice. Okay. This would actually be pretty big, the recon for Zhuo. We're looking for the roaming squad yet again, but I feel like this is okay for NIP. The biggest problem I had with game number 1 from NIP, with this kind of draft to some extent, was the fact they just didn't play around bot lane. They tried to play around top. They tried to play around mid. Now you get another chance at it. You get the Gnar in top side, but you still have that roaming squad of the trio, and now they just have to find a way to play around Photic. The answer has been wrought, and it's a giant rock in the top side as fearness grabs the Malphite. Yeah, so NIP, I don't want to be seeing a Jinx roaming up to Rift Herald. Please play around this Jinx for the final game. You have champions with so much mobility. The trio coming in once again, but this time around, it's the Wukong instead of the Sejuani, so he can make up for that lack of damage when it comes to those early game picks. But LGD with a really smart response, the Malphite, that does stop Photic from kind of stepping up and allowing him to DPS throughout these team fights. But the difference is that LGD, they have a Brom that can peel for the Aphelios in these team fights, while NIP's side, they have a lot of engage, but where's the peel? That's gonna be the hardest part. You just go forward, I guess. At this point, you just try to find the engages. It's like, good luck, Jinx. And you try to get them excited. Yeah, you try to get Photic excited and just into the fights. It's gonna be interesting, though, as our culmination of our first series comes alive here. It's NIP in their home arena of Shenzhen, trying to go 2-1 to start off their season, while LGD on the other side of the rift are scrounging, fighting, scrapping to try to get their first series win of the split. Comes down to one last game. We've seen very one-sided matchups happen so far in a lot of these ones, but I feel like this composition for both sides is the best of both worlds. We'll see the double ADC, tried and true comp from LGD, face off against this front-to-back menacing team fight potentially from NIP. 加油! 加油! I'm a little sad we don't get Shenzhen arena. Don't worry, I'll make up for that. I see them shouting it. I see the words. It is muted. Sag. Maybe it's just muted. Oh!
Let's go.
Very cute.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, we got the Jiaos. Now we're getting into the actual fighting. As now LGD are actually going for a little bit of aggression on the bottom side. I love to see the 2v2s already kicking off down there. But specifically, it's all eyes on Shadow versus Meteor in this game number 3.
Most definitely, and it is going to be the Kindred for the final game in the hands of Meteor, where he is going to be starting the red buff and slowly working towards this bottom side and contest for that early mark, which is most likely going to be on that Scuttle Crab. But my biggest question is because we saw this Ahri and Annie matchup very early on in game 1, where Angel was able to get a lot of that lane parity, and is he going to be able to utilize it for game 3? Because that became their biggest downfall. So hopefully we get to see a bit of a change up when it does come to the mid jungle synergy for NIP, because they need to shut down Meteor and not give away everything.
Kindred can get very scary if you get to a roll, but not as scary if you can't. See, Photic and Zhuo actually playing super heavily on this to try to get this level 2 and press off of LPC and JinJiao. Should be successful in that one. As fearness gonna have a little bit of trouble in the early stages against Invincible on this Gnar. Did you get the new Kindred skin, by the way?
Oh, the DRX one?
Yeah, the Photic.
I don't play Kindred though.
Oh
but
I'm
a sheep when it comes to really pretty splash arts and just having it as my profile background. But I think out of all of them, I would probably just get the Ashe one. But I really suck at Ashe, so I don't know why I'm getting into the skin for her. I'm really glad that Ashe meta died down when it comes to support. Damn you, Beryl and Carrier, for introducing that last year.
Hey, at least we got a little bit of a change up in something. And at least another lane, another position has been aggressed by the AP champions. Ooh, Meteor going to be aggressed here. Speaking as an ADC main myself, gone are the days of the AP bots. Zhuo, that's an early flash, and that should be the Winter and Fight connection. That's huge. First blood for Meteor.
A little bit of an
oh my God, they're going right back in.
From NIP, looking for more. The
There's
Braum
the heal
is putting
coming
in
out.
so much work.
Oh, they're trying to get it. Yeah, Braum is just so big early on because you start stacking up those concussive blows.
Yeah, and I respect LPC for committing with that flash over the wall and getting the job done.
They're just wanting to fight. It's not even the mark. The mark is on the top one.
What? Wait, it's true.
Shadow's like, yeah, I mean, take it. I'll go get the other one.
Well, as everything dies down, he low rolled and Meteor did not get his mark on this bottom side Scuttle Crab. But the first blood going to the hands of this Kindred, he is more than happy to take that with the deficit of Shadow taking that blue away. But I think NIP a little bit too over aggressive with how that skirmish went, because they were a little bit disrespectful with how they were playing against this Braum. As we see the Braum coming in blind, but NIP is still more than happy to lock in something like the Rakan, where if you kind of engage a little bit, commit too much and go in too far in, or go... I'm losing my train of thought, but Zhuo overcommitted, and that's not a great sign.
Not a great sign indeed, but maybe cleaning it up, a little bit of that chaos being infused into the fights early. Haichao not going to actually get hit by the tower. That was very close. About 5 seconds for this dragon spawn. Backstop onto JinJiao by Zhuo. I do wonder though, we've seen such heavy prevalence from the red side to get these dragons stacking. And does that remain the case for Meteor, who will be pathing back down towards this bottom side?
And the classic double cold start for both of these ADCs, but I would still slightly prefer the Jinx when it comes to those later game team fights, because you have someone like Haichao that is going to be committing very far up with this Annie, and we all know that once you commit with the flash, then unless your engage is perfect, then you're gonna be in a very awkward situation where Photic can just play off your resets. And from the previous 2 performances that we've seen from Haichao on this Annie, it's been hit or miss, but definitely misses a little bit more.
It kind of has been. But again, third time's the charm. Third time's the charm. We're not going to doubt it till we see it. Oh!
They missed the cannon! Zhuo?
Sag.
That's a missing king moment.
That's,
What? How does he miss that? Oh,
unfortunate.
he has the relic shield.
Thumbs up from JinJiao. You do have Meteor actually holding over in the wings, waiting to see if a gank is possible. Don't think anything's going to come of it now. This should mean, though, with the pressure from bot, Dragon started up by Meteor and Co. While Angel actually getting the move down here with bot lane coming soon. It actually looks like NIP want to walk away. They actually had the timer to contest over it, but not going to do so.
Yeah, and we see that NIP's bottom lane is just getting constant pressure, or at least lane priority for these early objectives, and that is exactly what LGD wants. This Kindred is having a very good time just slowly scaling until that level 6 mark, and that is what they need for these major objective fights, which is going to be the next upcoming Rift Herald, and Mark is definitely going to be spawning there. However, we need to see if Angel's going to be able to land those very important charms on the Ahri, because that was also something that did play into NIP's downfall in that game 1, where I think mechanics was the biggest difference when it came to those team fights.
Meteor's now going to be crossing over towards his red side, while a roam actually came out from fearness. Now with that level 6, does have the go button. I think that's going to be a crucial factor for LGD. They're going to need to find ways to move fearness out competently to get these big engages off, because he's obviously looking at going tank, looking to go just for those big engages. They're going to need damage to follow it up, and that's why they grabbed the Kindred plus Aphelios dual marksman.
Yeah, and the most scary thought is that Photic on the Shin, he needs the LDR to do anything against this full armor Malphite in the hands of fearness in this game 3, because we already mentioned this problem where NIP, they have a lot of good pick potential and mobility, where they have the tools to look for closing the space against these carries, but that does leave Photic, poor little ADC, alone in the backline. And I'm pretty sure and confident to say that fearness can solo this Jinx in team fights if no one's peeling for her. So Zhuo has to make a very tough decision between the two.
Oh, Haichao. Okay, Shadow's not going to go for it. The Rift Herald did get started up. Okay, now he's going to go for it. Haichao just going to use the stun and the flash over the wall. Meteor should be signaling to get out of this one. And hop, skip, and a jump. There's Invincible trying to take a fight onto fearness. They're actually getting a decent amount of trades back. There's that level 6 though. Meganar not available just yet. Invincible flashes. Are they gonna have to damage Meteor? He gets the second kill of the game, and it's all LGD.
Not too sure what Invincible is trying to think there. Maybe he thought he could have turned into Meganar, just a bit of extra HP. But a really good pick made by LGD, and it really did seem like NIP were the ones with control over this Rift Herald, but now they get that back.
That's so big, and first and foremost, a Kindred with 2 kills early while they haven't really been able to get the marks going. It's so huge. Any double marksman composition, as soon as you get rolling, is so scary because it can be so oppressive. It is about how you use it in the execution on it, and that has been a big question for us tonight. But there is a lot to play through for LGD already as they move LPC up towards this lane swap that we've seen already multiple times in this series.
Yeah, and my biggest critique for NIP is we saw Invincible also getting caught in that game too. Although NIP was able to bring him back because of how strong Photic is, you don't have that same lead coming into this game 3, so you can't be making these tiny mistakes, giving a single kill over to Meteor. And now we see the classic lane swap from the Zephylos again, but can NIP do a response on the other side? They don't have flash and ultimate.
They're a lot more ahead of the play this time around. fearness has nothing to get out of this one. He just has to slow onto somebody, and the turret juggling is beautifully done. NIP strike on the bottom side.
You catch Meteor in a pretty awkward situation where he wasn't anywhere near that Rift Herald, so in the very end, they're going to trade plates onto Photic, and no major objectives going into LGG's hands just quite. You already see the jungle and support resetting for now, with ultimates available as well for this Rift Herald, so I don't think Meteor has the time to commit to this and finish it off because Angel can rotate.
Photic getting a lot of plates on bottom side though. Very far cry from what we've seen before. We got the TP from fearness on bottom side. Meteor starting up that Rift Herald. As more plates going to LPC up top here as well. Red side just consistently having 100% objective control. Gonna go a little bit wide of that Rift Herald. Secured by Meteor.
did spot that Angel was a little bit low on mana, so he was forced to back and TP. The Rift Herald, of course, going into the hands of Meteor as a natural response, while fearness got dove in the bottom side. But we see the same mistakes coming out of LGD from game 2. It's just leaving the ADC and letting them take how many plates untouched and unpunished. But I guess the bright side is Meteor sitting on a Stormraiser now, so he's going to have a lot of damage.
I want to see how they actually get out and use that, because pretty big spike to start off at such early point with Stormraiser from a marksman in the jungle. They also do have that Rift Herald to utilize. Maybe looking at this mid lane as ADCs do go back to farming in the bottom side. The trios have aligned, and this is where we were looking at for NIP to really be strong because of the strength that the Wukong, the Ahri, and the Rakan can have together.
And the next big question is going to be about how Photic is going to be able to perform in this upcoming fight, because he has all the gold in his pockets with Kraken Slayer coming online as well. But Meteor, being the one on the opposing side with the Stormraiser, he has an extra bit of survivability with his ultimate available. Oh, Photic, you're a bit out of position.
Grab it with the cleanse immediately utilized. So ulti for a summoner spell. There goes Haichao going golden out of that charm, so that was pretty good. The dragon still in the eyes of Meteor. We'll see a TP now coming in. There's no response from fearness. This is an outman fight for LGD. Now they just need to try to escape. The big wombo combo comes through, and he's got the Lamb's Respite, but the Respite will not last for long as NIP have shown up on your doorstep, and 3 quick kills go over. That's how LPC, you got to find a way to make it out of this one. Red, white, can you fight? He's going in with it. He got the flash. He's got the cleanse. He's got everything. But everybody juggles beautifully again. And NIP are on the board with 5 kills now.
That was so clutch from Angel. The final stopwatch to deny that final tower shot, going over towards him in a very clean 4-for-0 trade, while fearness not having that TP available just meant that it was a numbers disadvantage from the very beginning, as Invincible starts everything off with that TP flank, and Zhuo on this Rakan getting his hands onto 3 members of LGD. And Meteor, even though popping the ultimate, they just didn't have any situation to be fighting this, with LPC also not rotating towards this fight. And the mobility on NIP is really getting utilized here from this tower dive as well.
The beautiful Spirit Rush at the last second. They were waiting, holding it for as long as possible, while LGD do get a trade on the map. They have the first turret of the game going down with a Rift Herald charge in mid lane as well for Haichao.
Yeah, it's okay though, because fearness got the top lane tower. Copium. He will smack Photic, I think, in these team fights. It's okay. Just a tiny bit of a shakeup. I believe Haichao had to use his stopwatch very early on before that dragon fight due to getting caught out of position by Angel on the Ahri just to dodge a charm. But I think Zhuo in this series so far on the Rakan, he's been doing spectacular. Even in this game that they lost in game 1, he was 0-1 and 7. So he was definitely trying with his little heart out to make things happen around the map. But this time you have someone that can make up for that lack of damage, which is the Wukong, with the Sunders available in his hand, and also Photic scaling very well into the mid game.
We have a lot of item completion coming off. Pretty much everybody having their first mythic item. But also something else I want to come back to is the conversation of the Jinx into Aphelios. When Jinx starts getting ahead over for the Aphelios, it just seems to snowball. And while there's still a lot left for LPC to say, you're seeing a lot of strength from Photic and a lot of playability, because the Excited is a lot more easily played around than, say, getting the right gun combination, right? They just need to find one big pick, and it all snowballs from there. And they've done really well in this last fight to do that.
Yeah, and you saw the absence of fearness in that fight really did cause a difference with the outcome, because I think this Malphite is going to play a very important role with how Photic is going to be able to position in these team fights. This Malphite is very, very strong with the Sunfires in hand.
It's just the Sunfire.
Okay. Yeah, it's just the Sunfires, but you see Meteor trying to make something happen on the other side of the map, as we see NIP's support showing in that topside vision.
Invincible, not going to have the Mega Gnar just yet. Does burn the flash, so that's at least a summoner spell that can be revisited. Meteor still desperately looking for these stacks, though, only at 2 so far.
This is exactly what I want to see from Invincible, denying the enemy team of getting these picks. And I'll still give Haichao another 10 minutes to show us what he has with this Annie, because like you've been saying, third time is the charm. But LGD, as they put all their baskets, all their resources towards this bottom side tower, I don't think NIP can get the same type of response in the top side, because fearness is pretty fed on the Malphite.
He is very strong. Rock solid, if you will. That does mean a second tower on the map for LGD and a perfect timer to reset, maybe get a little bit more gold before that reset comes through, but get ready for another dragon fight. I'm glad that we finally get contests over the dragons. While we did get some cool steals in game number 1 of the Barons, it's been one-sided in the dragon contest so far. And this time around, we do have the 1-for-1, and I'm sure the dragon priority will continue to take priority for both of them.
I want to see LGD setting up their vision very early on in the game, because you can't walk into someone like the Annie and the Malphite without being contested, especially if you consider how squishy NIP's composition is. And the difference is that Meteor does have that ultimate available in Kindred as well, so you can afford to make these contests. They really want to get this Gnar. He doesn't have to flash this time though.
He has TP.
Okay.
He makes it out of there. Unfortunately, there's one downside to the Kindred kit. There's no stun. So it makes it a little difficult. That will be the TP, though, burn from Invincible. Shadow responding well with a Rift Herald on the opposite side, but a couple camps less for him, as Meteor will be stealing some of those away.
It's safe to say that NIP can just look with this Rift Herald and force something either top or mid, get the towers and trade it off for the second dragon. It's not going to be a very big deal. It's going to be very hard for Zhuo to walk in, as you already see him being a lonely support. I don't think he should even be trying for this. As NIP, they should just respond with getting that tier 1 tower in mid lane.
I love that they know there's a ward there. They're just like, I really want to kill it. I really want to kill this ward. We actually see NIP using the Rift Herald in mid lane immediately as well. Should be getting Photic this and can potentially play off the excited off of it.
What?
Oh, no! It's a catastrophe! Go use your Spirit Rush for it, Angel. Do it.
We need to check on the HP on that tower. What is... I can't.
Oh.
But it is going to be the dragon that's going to be the next contested objective, but it doesn't seem like NIP is interested in going to fight. But Zhuo, I don't know if he can look for a pick there, buddy. The only person walking towards topside is going to be fearness.
I feel like one thing I will say, we've seen a level up in the mechanics of dodging the Mega Death Rockets from junglers. Their positioning is, you know, they're just, if there's a Jinx in the game, they fight it off the center point just a little bit. They have a weird angle, because we've seen so many times before that the Jinx Rocket steals away the objective. Won't be the case this time. Second dragon goes over to LGD, and back onto the map they go as the rest of NIP fall back.
Look, at least we have Angel sitting on 5 stacks of Ahri this time, and I think he really has improved his entire early game on this Ahri, as he has so much KP at 5. Meteor, you don't want to be here.
That's a flash out of JinJiao just to try to save the day. That's also TP there, just full committing to this, and it actually works.
The Baron is going to be spawning in 5 seconds, but there is no way Meteor can contest on such low HP.
Oh my god, LPC's caught. Does have to burn the cleanse and flash. My god, it's just chaos everywhere.
It really is.
But they're
chaos.
just pushing mid.
Invincible, silent achiever, getting that tier 2 tower in the bottom side.
They're gonna get a tier 2 in mid too?
They just gave all map control over to NIP because Meteor just survived through JinJiao flashing over the wall, and that is going to be a huge shift in terms of the priority that everyone has in the lane. I'm not too sure because NIP, I mean, you see the attempts, but the execution isn't there.
It is just not. It has been a question all series long for both sides. Haichao maybe looking for something. They got a big flank. They have found Photic, and he's all by himself. The flashes will be answered. Zhuo, the saving grace, can't do it. 550 big smackaroos straight to fearness. And they might be able to find a Shadow on the other side of it as well. Meteor, if he gets this one, this is another stack going his way. And fearness gets another kill. My goodness. The Chad of a mountain man. fearness for LGD. And straight to the Baron buff.
Yep, and all our questions have been answered as fearness just straight up solos the AD carry. While Invincible is pressuring the bottom side, but they don't have a jungler to contest this Baron.
All right, we'll see Angel just die outright. Oh, makes it out alive. Man, the amount of small health bars we've seen in this series is just absolutely crazy to me. The inhib actually does not fall unless those minions are going to be able to clean it up. Maybe? No, it's not going to be enough. So the inhib doesn't go down, but they do lose the tower. Big stuff from Invincible in the side lane, getting as much as he can. Now with that whole breaker there as well completed, we'll see this fight kick off.
I think Photic could have ran up instead of going down, but he didn't spot fearness TPing with that flank ward, and fearness flashes over the wall and connects all of his damage onto this Jinx, which is something that we highlighted very early on in the game. Until you hit that LDR, this Malphite is not dying, especially with Angel going the Everfrost and Merc Treads for this third game as well. There's just no one challenging this champion in game 3, but now with the Baron buff as well, LGD can realistically just continuously force fights in the mid lane because your carries don't have that flash available.
It's a big timer to look at, but speaking of big timer to look at, about 1 minute and 50 seconds on this Baron buff for LGD, and they're gonna give a little bit of NIP's own medicine straight back to them. Take down a tier 2 tower in the mid lane, maybe even look for an inhib tower. That'd be a little dicey with the amount of members that are up for NIP.
Yeah, and with Invincible going the whole breaker, he is consistently pressuring the side on this Gnar, which is starting to become a tiny bit of a problem, but until this Baron buff runs out, to say the least. But now the dragon is going to be spawning in 1 minute. And like I highlighted, no flashes available for Photic, so I think Zhuo, he can't even look for angles to get onto the enemy AD carry or even the carries in the Kindred, because he needs to be helping out poor little Photic.
Poor little Photic. Just trying to make it in this big world as Jinx from Arcane. Just trying to have a good time. Speaking of good time though, got 35 seconds for a dragon. Something that LGD definitely want to be contesting for, but Meteor and the double ADC composition, the double marksman comp, looking real good so far. They can play decisive in it. Even if they're behind in terms of gold, their team fight has just looked real good. They're able to catch out members when they need to.
There's going to be a TB from Angel. They're going to give this third dragon.
They just played a side lane play.
I don't know if they're going to be able... Haichao has his Zhonya's available. Shadow's also here. Zhuo's here as well.
Haichao knows that something's happening now. He realizes there could be something going on, and this might open up inhib tower here. It looks like LGD are committing bodies. He can't get it off. He can't get the damage. He can't get any stuns. There is Zhuo that goes very, very low. Meteor taking this dragon. Soul point for LGD, and NIP don't get that tier 2. They do just get that 1 kill.
And that is the classic incident. Just play safe under tower, lol. I think Haichao could have used his Zhonya's maybe 1 second later as the Everfrost got thrown out of Angel. It baits the enemy team to kind of go send everything they have, or in terms of their ultimates, like Zhuo's Rakan ult, and then you just dodge out on an extra second. I'm not too sure if it's gonna make a difference at the very end, but LGD now on soul point with this Hex Dragon as well. So once again, NIP giving all these major objectives away, and it's all thanks to this blind Brom pick out of JinJiao for game 3 that does diffuse a lot of the angles that Zhuo and Shadow is able to find around this bot side.
Very, very true. We got about 4 minutes and 10 seconds as a timer for LGD to get that soul. We also got Meteor's 4th mark finally. And a big level up for the Kindred here in terms of the range, the damage, all that good stuff. All the goodies that come in the goodie bag of the Kindred kit. But still looking to continue stacking those up. And there it is, a 3rd item spike for Angel, a 3rd item spike for Photic, and the guns are online.
We've been highlighting this Lord Doms for the Photic, the Photic? Yes, the Photic in game 3. As all my eyes are onto this Jinx, because if he flashes the initial engage from fearness and is able to play with his space, then that is where he starts popping off in these team fights. But I think Shadow's looking for a flank.
They are trying to find it. LPC making it out of that angle. Bottom lane still contested by Invincible down there, but NIP will put their eyes back towards this Baron pit. About 1 minute and 10 seconds till that objective spawns. And the biggest thing so far that I feel like LGD have been winning at is these flank wards. All of the vision that they have controlling, now they're losing a little bit of that. They've got to find a way to set it back up.
And you see that NIP's current approach is just pressuring the side lane with this 1-3-1, but they're not getting too much done due to not having any vision control. You can't realistically push that far up because this is the result. Imagine if Angel stayed for an extra wave. He would have been just caught, and that's going to be Baron. So NIP, they realistically need to look for a pick around a major objective, which is going to be the Baron in 30 seconds. Put a pink ward down, bait Meteor to face check it, and that is your 4v5. Because I don't know what putting vision over full fearness in this bottom side is going to do.
It's a literal mountain that they're trying to kill. They don't have like C4, they don't have explosives, they don't even have like a mining pick. I don't know how they're supposed to kill a mountain.
Do we have literal gods in this game? Isn't Kindred a literal god of death? So I don't think
they're on the same side. You gotta look at the outside. You gotta look at. You got a giant rocket from Arcane. I mean, you know, the Arcane buff, the Jinx from Arcane buff is pretty big, so it might be enough. Angel though, they're gonna need some Jinx from Arcane buff somewhere, as they actually will just look for Shadow. Sneaky. He's in a lot of trouble though. Yeah, that's going to be the combo coming down. Shadow getting caught out in the most inopportune time, because that means LGD's eyes go straight to the Baron, but they got to deal with Invincible.
Yep, you got to start the Baron and cut your losses. Invincible is consistently pressuring this inhibitor. He's already gotten it, but I don't think he can get anything more than this. So he can realistically TP, but he's going to get stopped by fearness.
He can fight.
He stole it!
Oh my god!
Stole the Baron!
No way! No freaking way! Photic steals the Baron!
Mazel, we were just talking about how junglers have been so good with dodging these Jinx rockets, but no, when there's 5 people focusing this down, this is the angle for NIP to come back to the game, taking 2 inhibitors as well.
You forgot about Photic! It ain't Dre any longer, it's Photic, the Photic! We gotta get a replay of that one.
Because no one expected a Jinx rocket from mid lane. And he gets the Jinx from Arcane as well. The
no
shield doesn't block it. Are you serious, Mazel?
It doesn't block the AoE. Oh my god. But it's I'm literally mind blown right now. Holy cow.
But now the dragon is going to be spawning in 10 seconds, but without the bottom and mid inhibitor, with also Baron buff minions pressuring in, they can't contest this. And now LGD, they're in the position to lose Photic. 3 items working towards that G as well. 3 stopwatches for this next fight. I don't know if LGD can look, because Annie doesn't have that flash either.
That is like getting the wind knocked out of your lungs for LGD. They had everything going for them. They were dealing with, even though losing the inhib, dealing with Invincible in the side lane. They committed to the Baron, and the fact that they came away with nothing is so disheartening. I saw a big ol' sigh from LPC after that one. We gotta hope they stick into the game here, keep those momentums going for them, and especially look at these next team fights, because you are still set up for success. Your base is in tatters, but your team fight is very, very strong.
You already see NIP moving all their members towards that top side. Invincible can realistically just get this top lane inhibitor himself, while you see this 3-1-3 coming out of NIP once again for this final push. So I think LGD, they need to pull the trigger on either the top lane or the mid lane and fight with a numbers advantage, because you have fearness or Malphite. Just ult.
It just feels like the tail of the tape for LGD. They have these abilities to be decisive, but they can't find the trigger pull on them. I still feel like Haichao has not been as effective as we've seen other Annies be able to be on this big pick, and it's now a part where they're getting pulled apart They need a follow-on 5v5. They cannot win big fights without all their damage rearing and ready to go. And now they're looking for the side lane catch onto Angel. He's got the Spirit Rush, but the flash forward should be enough. No, he doesn't get him. Angel survives yet again. And it's NIP who are going for the throat. LPC, he's got red and blue. He's got some AoE, but it's NIP with Photic finally joining the fight, getting all excited. And you better be all excited about NIP as the ninjas in pajamas are looking to put the final touches on this third game. One Nexus tower survives, and they want to improve to 2-1. But LGD, they are not giving up the fight here. It's Photic who knows who to go to, where to go to, and he's excited. JinJiao falls, and it's NIP who improved to 2-1 in the summer split.
And Photic refuses to drop the ball, steals the Baron, and just wipes LGD through this series. And they're going to win and take it away 2-1 in a very chaotic game. But at the very end, he was able to stand up on this Jinx.
It's actually incredible to see NIP just fight through this series, and also heart-wrenching for LGD, man. They can't catch a break. They literally cannot catch a break. They fight tooth and nail.